Hey guys, welcome to the last Rascal reviews for Superhero Month this year.
Woo!
And today we'll be covering the DVD movie Scooby-Doo Mask of the Blue Falcon. And of course, my entertainment is joining me to cover it.
Scooby-Doo!
Yeah.
Hey guys!
Yes. So this one was a bit different in a choice to cover because it's technically not a superhero movie. It's not about a superhero, but they sort of do their own little fun take on Comic-Con and superhero geek culture in a way. Was going through Shaggy and Scooby as they're going through Comic-Con-a-Palooza-thon of whatever. Why the 5 names?
But when Blue Falcon was originally on, he was indeed considered a superhero.
That is correct.
And he was supposed to be like a knockoff version of Batman. So
Yes.
technically, Blue Falcon is a superhero.
That is correct. And quickly, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned, of course, for some more Rascal reviews, even outside of Superhero Month.
Yes.
So, yes, you are right. And that's, I think, one thing that stands out about this movie when they do Comic-Con. Because most of the time, especially for the time this came out, because this really still wasn't done. It was 2015. Superheroes were just getting started being popular. I'm sorry, not 2015, 2013. They were just beginning to get popular because of the beginning of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
So when they did this, their take on Comic-Con stuff wasn't done to be an insult, because most of the time when people would do it, it was meant to be something annoying or gross or creepy or waste of time. It's a loser. It's always something negative.
Right.
This was one of the few movies to start showing Comic-Con truly as a fun experience and something people love to do. And the instance for Scooby-Doo is that they use the superheroes they've had from the classic Hannah Barbera era at the time Scooby-Doo was out.
Which was actually brilliant.
Yes.
And I want to let you know, I looked up, and it is considered a superhero comedy mystery film. So it is considered superhero.
Okay, so
because of Blue Falcon.
Yes. Yes, you're right. And even funnier is that Mom was familiar with, I think, all the superheroes that they mentioned in the movie, which made it better.
Blue Falcon and Dyno-Mutt.
Yes, the biggest one. And the only one I was kind of like, hey, you need to put SWAT cats in there. They're superheroes.
Yeah.
But
it was before that time.
That's
period.
correct. So they actually paid attention to the time period and made it to where it's, hey, they would have watched this at the time the original Scooby-Doo was out. So I was like, okay, I can pass that.
I think what was interesting is all the superheroes they had in there, the majority, I think all but one, took place in the 60s.
Yes.
So the reason I became familiar with them is because a lot of these shows were rerun for decades on TV, and then a couple of them, like the Herculoids, they made a remake of it in 81.
What?
So even if you weren't around during that time to watch it like we weren't, in some way, form, or fashion, you were exposed to it and got to see it, or you got to see a reboot of it.
Right.
So it was really brilliant for them to do that.
Right. And the basis of this movie, yes, is taking place at a pseudo Comic-Con. But what's really it is more like an homage to the people that really love the Blue Falcon Dyno-Mutt series. The whole mystery is actually taking place at a Comic-Con because there's supposed to be a monster that is from the Blue Falcon TV series that has seemingly come to life and is determined to destroy the convention and to keep from a Blue Falcon reboot movie being made. And hearing that premise, you already know, yes, they do poke fun at superhero movies that were out at the time and the way companies were going remaking them. In the instance of Blue Falcon, and it's funny enough because Warner Bros. Didn't listen to their own advice, is that when they were rebooting Blue Falcon, they were poking fun at Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy movie by making him dark and existential and edgy and deep and emotionally trauma, and it was dark and it was night and raining, and Dyno-Mutt was like RoboCop as a dog and was biting bad guys, and Scooby and Shaggy are horrified because they love the campy one. So you know that they were kind of poking fun at when Batman 66 and then compared to Dark Knight was like a complete 180.
Yeah.
And it resonates a lot more now because reboots are coming out left and right and haven't stopped for years. And sometimes when they do reboots, sometimes they actually end up being good, rare occasions. But most of the time they screw up what people loved about the original in favor of their new vision, which they state in the movie, that this is how they see the character and this is a better fit. And this was 2013, and this is pretty much everybody who does these reboots and don't know what they're doing tell you, well, I see this character as this, and this is a better fit. And it rarely turns out right.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, we're still seeing that in 2026, where they do a reboot Disney, or a remake Disney, or a live action Disney, and tell you that it's better than the original. And 90% of the time it isn't. You've got some like Voltron Legendary Defender, Ben 10 Alien Force, Ultimate Alien that did it well, but
DuckTales
90% of the time, yes, DuckTales 2017, but the majority of the time, a reboot, or what's the other one called? A reboot or
a reboot or a revival.
Yes, revival. They don't do well, and they're not better than the original. And I think this movie really made that statement come across well without being offensive and preachy.
Exactly.
You got the message.
And they even also foreshadow, believe it or not, what was going to come with a lot of the Scooby-Doo and Warner Brothers Entertainment, because they had the actor in here. It's clear that Blue Falcon is a TV show character, and it was the equivalent to Adam West Batman. And he's at a convention, and he's really distraught and more like angry. But not in like he's crazy because he thinks he's the character, that whole stereotype. He's
not
angry.
Catman.
Right. No, but he was sounding like Adam West. He was saying how the company wants to get rid of the old Blue Falcon when they're making a new movie. They won't rerun his show. They won't put it on DVD. They weren't giving him any residuals. They're trying to get the old Blue Falcon out of the public so no one will remember him. And of course, he's really angry at this.
Like Star Wars.
Right. And at first, they're like, okay, he's kind of crazy. But they were telling you that this was going to be a dark future, because we flash forward to now, and now that I want you having physical media, they keep putting everything on streaming. They've locked up a lot of projects in the vault where either they're finished and you can't see them, or they don't want you accessing old TV shows.
And we learned that to prevent paying residuals to these actors on these old series, they put them on streaming where the contract doesn't account for that, so no one gets paid for their work being on streaming as they would if it were rerunning on network TV.
Right. So the movie was actually telling you a lot of what was going to come for Warner Brothers.
And they predicted their own treachery, because look what Warner Brothers has done now. Not only have they sold themselves, the entire company, they make movies and then don't even put them out and get a tax write-off. And then they even predicted what Disney would do with Star Wars and others, where they kill off the original OG characters, trying to make you like the new ones. So, this was a pretty prophetic animated kids movie.
Yes, very, very. And amidst all the fun, it still plays out like a Scooby-Doo mystery. They make a little bit of twist here and there to keep it interesting. The only change we weren't really fans of is Velma. And not to the extreme of what they got now, this was tame in comparison, is that she really doesn't want to be at this Comic-Con. Daphne wants to be there because she's collecting a version of Beanie Babies.
Right.
And Fred wants to look at the costumes and the sets and everything because it's the closest connection to Traps. Velma doesn't want to be there because she explains she doesn't like comics. Superheroes confuse her because none of their stories and stuff make sense. Well, that's why they're fiction, Velma. And just the idea of a Comic-Con and people obsessing over them is just like a waste of time.
And she's one of the biggest nerds there.
Exactly. And they even had in an old movie and in one of the previous series where she was reading a comic book and excited for a convention. So that was one of the few things that was not right with the movie, is that they retconned her character to not like comics at all when she was almost as big as a nerd as Shaggy and Scooby. But I guess I don't want to go here, but it sounds like they almost want to make it sound like, oh, the guys of course like the comics and the girl doesn't, and it's bull because there's comic fans of both sides.
Two right here.
Yeah.
It was a fun movie, and as you said, there could have been some things done better. It was great seeing Dyno-Mutt
Yes.
And he still was crazy. Not as
Yes.
crazy as he was in his TV show because
Yeah.
it was total comedy.
Yeah,
Blue
they only told
Falcon was the
segments.
straight man and Dyno-Mutt was the idiot.
Yes.
But you love them both. It was funny watching the original show.
Mhm.
And the only other thing besides what you said about Velma, I do wish they had brought some of that Dyno-Mutt comedy in here. Much more of
Yes.
it. There wasn't enough of his silliness and craziness.
Yes, because especially they're big fans of it. Shaggy loves Blue Falcon. Scooby loves Dyno-Mutt. To them, they're iconic, and he
Right.
wants to be like Dyno-Mutt so badly in here. That would have been a great way to do it because they even sort of give you this message at the end when they revamp the Blue Falcon reboot that there's a way to have both the old and the new coexist. When they had the original Blue Falcon play the new one's father, which is perfect because people love when that's done and it's done well. So they are fully aware there is a way to have both coexist, satisfy both, and do justice to both. It's just that the people in charge kind of don't want to do that because they think their new version is superior.
Yeah.
Flash forward to the Scoob movie, which was supposed to set up a whole Hannah Barbera universe that has gone nowhere now because Warner Brothers ruined everything.
Again.
It was foreshadowing. And we were gonna get movies based off of Blue Falcon, Dyno-Mutt, and Captain Caveman, and the Flintstones, and the Jetsons. That was all coming. But because they changed the story so much from what the original idea was, and then the character was different by having his son, who's an idiot and you couldn't stand, and then Dyno-Mutt was completely serious, the straight man, and he wouldn't take his crap, and he should have been in charge, and he was just a jerk. They completely reversed how the characters were.
And it was really weird having Ken Jeong voice him. It just
I was
work.
like, because celebrity, that was really it. But now going back to the Blue Falcon movie, I know it's not technically Blue Falcon, we're just gonna call it that.
Right.
Back to the Blue Falcon movie, it maintains still being a fun Scooby-Doo movie. There was still a mystery, and Shaggy and Scooby got an opportunity to get more involved in the case rather than just being chased by the monster this time.
Very true. Want to go to the cast?
Yes.
Okay, so we have Frank Walker as Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
And Fred.
Of course.
And Dyno-Mutt.
Yes. Oh boy.
Matthew Lillard, of course, is Shaggy. Mindy Cohn at that time was still Velma. Gray Delisle is Daphne. Jeff Bennett as Owen Garrison, the Blue Falcon.
Yes.
Diedrich Bader as Brad Adams. D. Bradley Baker as the vocal effects of Mr. Hyde's hideous Hyde Hound.
Yes.
Horton McGuggenheim, the Manny Minotaur of Mainsley Manor.
Yes, a lot of alliterations.
Greg Berger as Hank Prince. John DiMaggio as Mr. Hyde. Nika Futterman as Jennifer Severin. Kevin Michael Richardson as Mayor Ron Starling.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mindy Sterling as a caterer. Tara Strong as Austin Prince and Nora Bingleton.
Oh, my
She
God.
did two voices.
The names.
Fred Tatasciore as Jack Rabbit and the interpretation of Dyno-Mutt in Severin's upcoming Blue Falcon film. And last, Billy West is James Becker.
So, obviously, they got a lot of voice actors that also voiced superheroes in the past as sort of extra bonus. And funny that you also mentioned about the producer of the Blue Falcon remake. Because they do a sort of jab at Michael Bay, as a lot of people love to do, because there were a lot of Transformers fans that felt like
Four producers.
Four producers. And if a lot of people felt at the time Michael Bay was destroying Transformers as we know it, and it said the movies made no sense, and they were making money out of being nonsense. So
Michael
they kind
Bay
of
fans here.
Right. But if we kind of could have done without that, but everyone was doing that at the time. They just replaced the woman and said, oh, instead of story, how about I just blow things up the whole movie? And they gave her the money. So, yeah, they got their jab in, which was admittedly funny, but it could have done without that.
So it ran 78 minutes, which is about the length of a usual Scooby-Doo movie. Not too long, not too short, just perfect.
Yes.
So it's something fun to watch if you've never seen the original Blue Falcon, if you've never seen him referenced in Guess Who? Scooby-Doo Guess Who? And you kind of want to know what happens with this character. You do get the backstory. But as we mentioned, you get how foreshadowing for Warner Brothers, just massively disrespecting all of his animation. I guess the sector, the animators, the writers, the characters. it just happened.
Yeah.
And this was 2013, so
Yes.
it only took 12 more years for them to do what for them to try to sell it.
Yeah.
But they started probably about 10 years after that when they started scrapping movies and things that had to do with animation.
Yes.
Or superheroes like Batman and Batgirl.
Yes, exactly. So, thank you guys for listening, and hope you enjoyed listening to the Superhero Month reviews for Superhero Month, I'm going to say, yes. And of course, there'll still be Rascal reviews coming out that are not related to July, and look forward to those. Thank you, Mom, for joining me for all 4 of these podcasts/reviews this month.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Yes. And be sure to subscribe to Mama Entertainment's and the SoFab channel. Has lots of great reviews as well as health and beauty tips, and even stuff for food if you really want to take notes on what to eat.
Thank you, and you're always welcome, guys.
Yes. And stay tuned for the rest of the Superhero Month videos remaining for the year. And
pause on animation.
Right, and pause animation as well if you want even more content. We have a review coming out every day this month, and you're welcome to check out what we've covered so far in there before the month is over.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.